Hello? Okay. Hey. Test. Hello. Well, this is the start of the live stream. Nobody is here, and there will be a lot of mistakes, but I really don't care because this is the first live stream of the genre. I have worked out already, so I couldn't set everything up as I wanted, but it seems that I will have time to do so before people start entering the chat. Oh yeah, also I have to share the link. Invite with the copy. So yeah, let's go. YouTube. So let's go to this. Okay. Hello, guys. So I will put the link here. I don't know if it appears to everybody. Okay. So setting up the last things. Okay, I think I have done it all. Now I will wait someone to join. I will send some links to some community members that I knew that they wanted to participate. And let's see how it goes. Okay. Whoa, comments. What is this? Ah, okay. It's my comment. So just so this is test. Okay, let me just test. Test. Okay. So this is the first live stream, and of course, people will be frightened to enter, and that's okay. Let's wait for someone to show up. If nobody shows up, it's okay. At the end of the day, I'm nelsonthekinger. So there are less than 24 hours for Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev. And during this live stream, what I wanted to do was giving a voice to the community that we have been building for some time now, almost a year since I have been doing polls, UFC polls. So I wanted to give a voice to these guys, especially because some of them seem to understand a lot of fighting, a lot of UFC, and especially for those, I thought that would be interesting for them to have a platform where they could express their opinion, and perhaps some of them would be right many times, and maybe they can find their space in YouTube, for instance. So that's one of the goals of this live stream. Other than this, also to give an opportunity to the community of getting to know me a little bit better, without entering into too much details into my personal life, of course. But by talking with me, it would be enough to have a grasp of who I am and how I behave and how I talk and how I think, because at the end of the day, I am the leader of this community, and it's important to have an idea of how and how the leader talks, behaves, and stuff like that. So in terms of expectations, my expectations for this live stream, well, we will have 2 live streams today, and my goal is not me doing launching the fights. It's not that the goal. It's not that. It's not me talking about what's coming. It's about you talking about what's coming and you sharing your opinion and all of that. So the majority of my audience is from the United States, so it's too early right now in the United States. It's 6 a.m. and I understand that people that are in the United States will not wake up and just join a live stream. That's not the first thing that you do in the morning. I never would want that, and the channel is not big enough for that, and this format of content is pretty much new or non-existent on my channel. So this is the expected behavior, to not have anyone on live stream, and that's okay. That's within my expectations, because my expectations were to have between 1 person and zero people, and so far everything is going as expected. What could I let me just see. I don't know if we have another viewer here. Oh, okay. Oh, Mario Hadad already here. What's up, Mario? Super Mario, you don't miss. Well, Mario, there are 2 things about this live stream. This live stream is pretty much about giving you guys voice. So if you want to join the live stream and start the conversation, you just have to click the link that I've sent you, and that is in the description of this live stream, and then you can just jump in. You can just jump in, and if you don't want to show your face or anything like that, just don't show. The most important thing is to have a conversation and just chill and talk about this event if you have something to talk. and you certainly will have, because I have some questions for you. So I challenge you. You have showed a lot of fire for this, so just hop on. I'm waiting for you. And if you have any technical issues, just let me know. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm not sure, but just let me know. There is always a delay of 30 seconds, so I can't. I am at work. Oh, okay, no problem, Mario. But at the end of the day, you have joined. So in terms of expectations, I don't know if more people will join at this time, because this was not the most voted time. The most voted time is at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in US. So yeah, I'll be listening this while working. Okay, yeah, don't worry. But just to manage your expectation, I'm not going to give like a prospect of what's coming for the fight. I want the fans, the community, to do that, and that's the format that I have. So if nobody appears, in the live stream to chat, the content that will be generated from this live stream is pretty much this: me waiting for someone to show up and to actually come and talk with me. So I don't know if that's what you expect, and if it's worth it to have that while you are working. Nevertheless, you can do it, and it's your decision, and I appreciate it. And yeah, let me thank you for coming. You are the first one. Incredible. You really are Super Mario. We have another listener from the. We have another guy from the community as well that also is at work, and this guy say that he would come at 8 a.m. Eastern time. There is a lot for that. Still, that's until that time is available. So I probably will wait like 10 minutes more, and in 10 minutes I will cancel. Well, it's not canceled because it was the time that I was expecting. So when the 30 minutes of live stream are completed, I will terminate this, and then I will prepare myself for the main and most popular live stream, which is at 2 p.m. GMT +1. So we have another listener. I don't know who you are, but just join the StreamYard link that. Let me just check this. Picks for this card for me. Well, I will be honest with you. UFC always does a great job at making fights that you cannot predict what's going to happen. For the main event, which is what really interests me the most, both Charles and Islam are extremely high-level guys. I think that each one of them can win, honestly, and I'm not sure if Charles will win. You know, I think that this can be a very close match, but I don't even know where the fight will be played the most. You know, I don't know if this battle will be on the ground. I don't know if this battle will be on the feet. However, we have some hints at where this battle will be played, or where are the areas where it will be played. For instance, Islam has been telling that he wants to submit Charles. He wants to show he's better than Charles on the ground. So I think that we can expect Charles, or we can expect Islam Makhachev to try to take down Charles. So that's one thing. Islam, according to his own words, will try to take down Charles. But we already know that Charles is very comfortable with takedowns, and he mentioned already in interviews that he doesn't try to defend takedowns. So Islam trying takedowns and taking Charles Oliveira to the ground is actually what Charles wants. So if Charles is very well prepared on the ground to submit, and if Islam goes and tries to prove that he's better than Charles on the ground, Islam might fall for the bait and get submitted. So that's one thing that can happen. Like we might see a Charles Oliveira that is so much better than Islam on the ground, and because Islam never fought anyone with the level of Charles Oliveira, he might get surprised and might get submitted. But this is just one possibility, because the other possibility is that Islam is actually much better than Charles Oliveira on the ground. And the thing is that Islam, despite he has not fought with any of the top 5 fighters, the reason is that he has been training all his life with the best guys in the world, and not only that, but he also has won competitions, big competitions in sambo and other martial arts. So Islam is a high-level guy. Islam was the favorite guy of the coach of Khabib's father. So Islam is no stranger to elite competition, and he has been training with DC. He has been training with Khabib, and he has been training with other high-level guys. Obviously, training and fighting is not the same, but according to his previous fights, Islam has been shown dominant, probably not at the same level than Khabib, but still very promising. So the first scenario, Islam tries to take down Charles. He makes it because Charles doesn't care. Charles actually wants that, but Charles is too good for Islam and submits him. That's one scenario. The other scenario is that Charles Oliveira goes to the ground with Islam, Islam takes him down, then Charles Oliveira is overwhelmed with the chain wrestling and the sambo that Islam practices, and it's just like an humbling experience, for Charles Oliveira, and Charles loses by submission. That's other scenario. Another scenario that can happen, because there is no one way, you asked me to pick a fighter, but I unfortunately I have to put all these scenarios in because we don't have a history of Islam fighting with high-level guys. So the other scenario is having Islam and Charles. Islam tried to take Charles down, and Charles goes down with Islam, and they wrestle. In the wrestle, grapple with each other, and no fighter can have a significant advantage over the other. So this is a third scenario where these guys just grapple, wrestle with another, but they are so good at their craft, even though it's different, that they can't gain advantage over the other, and they just decide to continue the fight on stand-up. So this is the third scenario. First scenario, Charles submits Islam because he's too inexperienced, and they have beaten the bait of Charles. The second scenario is Islam taking Charles down and proving that he is actually much better on the ground than Charles. And the third scenario is Islam trying to submit Charles, and they grapple, wrestle, and nobody can have a significant advantage over the other. So this is the scenarios that I see on the ground. Then there are more scenarios that can happen, which is standing up. So one thing that I think that Charles is better than Khabib, Islam is better than Khabib, is physical condition and is striking. I find Islam striking crisper, more precise, more technical, and because of the historical of Charles Oliveira's fights, we know that Charles Oliveira is it, and we don't know if he can take Islam's punches. He can be knocked down by Islam. That can happen, and it can be, so to speak, a fatal knockdown, because we know that Islam knows how to throw a punch. He's a complete fighter, and it can happen that Charles get caught by a punch like that, and it's the end of the fight, because there are no heroes on times like that. Anyone can be caught by a punch like that. But on the other side, we also have Charles Oliveira, and Charles Oliveira, he also knows how to throw punches, and his striking is many times undervalued. So he has demonstrated time and time again on his previous fights that he can knock down everybody, and Islam is no exception. So even both on the ground and on the feet, I believe that both athletes have the ability to take the other one over. It can be in a moment of genius. It can be in a moment of luck. It can be in the pressure of the moment. But I believe that any of them can surely beat the other one. So we have talked about the ground, where I believe that any of them can win, or can nullify each other. We have talked about the striking, in which I believe that also are very good and can beat each other. So a fourth thing that I can say is that we can actually see a decision on this fight, a decision win for one of the fighters, because as we have talked already, they are, on my opinion, equivalent or have some equivalent skills on the ground and on the feet, which can lead to epic fight with fantastic grappling moments and wrestling, and also fantastic moments on the feet. But given the art that both athletes have, none of them will give up, and we end up with a decision win where one of them will win. So the scenario of decision is an interesting scenario, and okay, just watching if there was more messages. The scenario of decision is an interesting scenario where we can picture some more possibilities, namely who in the past fights has completed more rounds or stuff like that. I don't know which of them has the better cardio, if Charles or Islam. I don't know, especially because Charles has been finishing his opponents lately, so we don't have a recent memory of Charles Oliveira going 5 rounds. So that's something that we don't know. So I don't know how his cardio is, and I have no data to project something like that. About Islam, we have a couple of fights where he went to 3 rounds, but I don't think we have a sample of Islam fighting 5 rounds. And because of the training that he does, because as far as I know, the coach of ACA, of the ACA team, pushes a lot for Islam, and there are videos out there of Islam complaining about how hard the coach pushes for him, and telling that he doesn't push like that for Khabib. There are videos like that. For that reason, I believe that Islam Makhachev is very well prepared from a cardio perspective, and I believe that he can get to the end of 5 rounds with still gas on the tank. Then there are other things to take into account, which is discipline. So discipline, if I look at Islam and I look at Charles, there is differences in the way they carry their fight. So if I look at Charles and look at the past fights of Charles Oliveira, I see a guy that wants to kill you. All right, I see a guy that wants to kill you, and he does so either by submission or by KO. But what happens if he doesn't kill you in those first rounds? Will he gas out? And is that strategy of killing the other guy, going after the knockout, going after the finish, the tactics that the coach defines for Islam? And the other thing that I say is that is the killing strategy, going after the knockout, the submission, or anything like that, the most efficient fight for a decision fight? I think that is quite risky. So what I would say is that the fighting style that Charles Oliveira has showed to us is a risky style that should be concluded in the first rounds, and gets more and more dangerous to stick to it as the fight goes. So on the other side, I find Islam much more moderate on his approach, and with better energy management. So I would say that in a scenario where the fight goes 5 rounds, I would say that Islam might have an advantage. Okay, for the reasons that I've mentioned already. Okay, like eventually better cardio and moderate strategy, aggressiveness, that allows you to have better energy management. So decision, Islam, KO, one of them, any of them can go, and submission, also any of them. I think this is it. I think this is my perspective on how the fight can go. So from all the time that I have been here talking, I basically said this: if we go to decision, I believe that Islam can win as advantage. If it is, damn, no one showed up. Rip. No problem, Mario. No problem, because I am a one-show man, and I talked about this before you came, and there is many. I mean, the my channel is not huge, there is not a big audience, and it's Saturday, people do stuff, and this was not the most voted time, and also the most part of my audience is from the US, and in the US probably it's like 6 a.m. and when you wake up at 6 a.m. the first thing that comes to your mind is not to join a live stream. So the channel is small, and for that reason, it is expected to not have many people on the live stream. And before you have arrived, I have told my expectations for this, and my expectations for this first live stream was between 1 person and zero people. So, it's even. Oh my God! Hello, everyone. What a cool mask, Nelson. Yeah, man. I have to hide my face. I'm too famous. This channel is too famous. Mario, seems that someone showed up, and we have exceeded my expectations. So, Ivan, I want just to tell you this. There is a link there. I don't know if you can see it, but if you want to join and have a conversation, we can have that conversation. I will just make you questions about the fight and stuff like that. He's hiding from Dana White. Yeah, because I do illegal stuff. I will watch the fight illegally. That's why I have to hide my identity. But yeah, even if you want to join, just join and we have a chat. You don't have to show your face. It's just chill. But yeah, but Mario, I don't know if you listen to my explanation about the fight, but basically, I can only tell you that if we go to decision, I got you. I will be able to talk for a little bit. Having breakfast right now. Okay, Ivan. I will wait and then you can join. You have the link right there. I will put the link here again, and then just join. I am a casual, but yeah, I think it will be a nice talk. So this is definitely above my expectations. I wasn't really expecting anyone to show up and talk. But Mario, what's your picks? What do you pick for this fight? You can talk about all of them. You can talk just about the main card as you wish. Let me just. You are not really casual. You are a very thoughtful person, and you know a lot about MMA than most. Well, thank you for the compliment. I don't know how to say about that, but yeah, man, just join. And let's talk a little bit. I probably have a lot of questions for you. Oliveira, Aljamain, and Sean. Okay, Mario. Very, very, very interesting. I really wanted to say if we have someone in the community that will get this event right. Like this is the first time that I put this live stream together. I'm thinking on doing something like this also for Adesanya fight. I'm only thinking doing this for events that excite me a lot. So only big events. And I wanted to see from what our community is made of, and if we from this small community can make accurate predictions, because all the polls that I do, they have a goal, and the goal is to filter weak fans and just to keep the best fans, because weak fans don't like to think, like challenges, and get rid of those guys and just get the best. So with that in mind, I finally decided to give a platform to those who have stayed with the community and keep replying to the polls. And I obviously spotted some interesting people and was thinking on those people that I decided to make this. So yeah, this is it. So the first live stream is expected to be the worst, and yeah, even nevertheless, I will enjoy every time. Adesanya will be frozen like Elsa. I can tell you something. I'm very excited for Adesanya versus Alex Pereira, because, well, it's a challenge that it's more than a fight, in my opinion. For Adesanya, it's about proving himself, because he has lost 2 times already with that guy. So if you ask me, I see fear or tremendous respect in Adesanya's voice and face when he talks about Alex Pereira. So I don't know if I don't know how Adesanya will fight against him, but it will be, I think, a milestone on his career. Whether Adesanya loses or wins, I think that fight will be a staple on his career. That's it. I will be back 15 to 20 minutes if you still can. I just need to help few customers. Of course, Mario, do your job. This is just entertainment at the end of the day, and hopefully Ivan can join in a few moments. So take your time, buddy. No judgment. Just a second, Ivan.
Yeah. Can you hear me, brother?
Wait. Yes, I can hear you. Just let me stop the music and put myself here because I was going to do a break, but glad that you have joined. Let me just clean things up.
How are you doing?
What I am doing?
On this how are you doing on this 5 day of fights?
I'm doing good, you know. Well, having this live stream certainly makes it go faster, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because in general, before I had to wait a lot and just watch a lot of videos and stuff. But if I am busy, it's much easier to get to the fight and just enjoy it.
For sure. You know, I have like a thing that I do. I wait for every single embedded episode to come out, and I watch them only before the fight start. So I have an hour before the fight start to watch every embedded, and then I go even more excited into the fights.
That's super cool, and that's a great strategy to deal with this. Like, one of the questions that I have is how people deal with how they behave on the first on the day of the fight, you know, and
after the fight,
and what do they do?
I mean, I generally, because in Russia, when the fights end, generally it's like 8 a.m. So I haven't slept, and it's 8 a.m. I gotta go to sleep. But most of the time, I watch post-fight press conference. Maybe talk a little bit with my buddies about the results and if something crazy happened. Well, just a tad bit, a little bit for like an hour at most. And then at 9 a.m. I go to sleep and wake up at like 4 p.m. the next day on Sunday.
Yeah. And before the fight, you watch those embed episodes. But do you sleep?
I watch embedded. I mean, yeah, I do. I mean, I don't sleep from Saturday to Sunday because it's that's when the fights are on. Before that, yeah, I try to sleep as much as I can, like 8 hours at least, 8 hours.
Yeah,
because I gotta stay healthy. I'm fat as it is, so I gotta stay healthy a little bit.
Yeah, do your best.
throughout the week, I listen to a lot of podcasts, like a lot. I listen to like I don't know 7 hours of podcasts every week.
But it's that MMA podcasts, all
Yeah, yeah.
things podcast.
Mostly MMA podcasts. It's like
Wow.
Michael Bisping's podcast.
Hmm.
It's John Anik and Kenny Florian's podcast. It's Wrestling Observer newsletter. Oh,
Yeah, but
um,
ju-
which else?
ju- just one question.
Heavy
Yeah,
Hands
because
with Jack Slack.
yeah, because you are one of those guys from the community that really seem like to know a lot about MMA and seem very invested in the MMA world. And I don't
Yeah.
know many people like that. And I was curious, why are you so into it? Or is that something common in Russia? Because I know that fighting is more of a thing, like in Russia or something, right? So,
Well,
like,
so for me personally, I started as a fan of professional wrestling
hmm
in 2010, I believe. I think yeah, in 2010 I started watching pro wrestling, WWE mostly, and
yeah,
then I branched off. I started watching indie pro wrestling, Japan pro wrestling,
okay,
and then I think me and my friends we went to a cafe that had a PS4, right,
uh-huh.
or PS3 at the time, and they had a UFC game on, and we were like, "Oh yeah, UFC! It's an interesting thing. Let's play." And we
Yeah,
wait,
yeah, no problem.
and we started like, and I played as DC as Daniel Cormier, and I was like, "Yo, this guy's cool. This guy is cool. I like this guy. He's smaller than everybody else. He's thick. He's a wrestler. He's a badass and shit like that." And so and that was before DC fought Anderson Silva. It was before
DC
UFC
fought
200.
Anderson Silva.
Yeah, at UFC 200, because
Wow.
John Jones was supposed to fight DC for the second time, but of course John Jones tested positive again.
Okay.
And also at UFC 200, the main event, I think, main event was Brock Lesnar against Mark Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Like Brock came back for one fight, and so me being a fan of pro wrestling at the time already, I was like, okay, Brock Lesnar's fighting, I gotta watch that. Okay,
Yeah.
DC is fighting, I gotta watch that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we watched UFC 200. It was very hard because the whole card was pretty boring.
Mm-hmm.
All in all, it was relatively boring because TC, he wrestled Anderson. Anderson hurt him like once, and Brock Lesnar fight was really bad. It was bad. It
Okay.
was very boring. But that's how I first acquainted myself with mixed martial arts. But then the next time, I from Wrestling Observer newsletter, I think I heard that Daniel Cormier is going for the heavyweight championship of the world. He's going
All
up against
right.
Stipe.
Mm-hmm.
It was 2018, I think, when he fought Stipe, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give this MMA thing a try, and I started watching from there on, every card, every week.
Nice. Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
And have you practiced any martial art or something?
Well, as a kid, I had 2 years of Greco-Roman wrestling training,
Mm-hmm.
and then as a teenager, I went to an MMA gym, but yeah, didn't work out quite well.
Okay.
For the most part, no.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do taekwondo at some point, but now I want to do jujitsu and Muay Thai.
Nice. Okay.
That's totally
We
what I'm gonna
will.
do.
Great.
But
We will go
generally, when it
to.
comes to Russia, it's like we have a lot of MMA fans from the Caucasian region, and like not ethnically Russian, if you will,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like
I
Caucasian
understand.
people, Dagestani people, Kazakhstani people, those kinds of guys.
Yeah, because you
They're
guys
big.
don't consider Dagestanis ethnic Russians, right?
Well, they're not. They're Caucasians. It's a bit different because ethnic Russians, they're like Alexander Volkov or Sergei
Mm-hmm.
Pavlovich. They
Yeah.
have hair like mine. They have white skin. They don't have a lot of hair. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But obviously, they're still Russian. Dagestanis, they're still Russian, but they're just different Russian.
Mm-hmm.
They live up in the mountains. They have a whole different set of rules. They have, different leaders and different
Yeah.
traditions and all that stuff.
Yeah. Just a small comment, but that reminds me. That reminds me, like Africa, in the sense that some countries that were created, they were created by the Europeans and aggregated on a piece of land, different tribes that are not ethically the same, and they have
Yeah,
different
yeah.
traditions and stuff like that. Because Russia is
I would
so
imagine
big,
that I would imagine that South Africa's like that, right?
probably, probably. I don't know the South Africa case, but very likely it is something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that can create some conflicts between different ethnic groups. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's just an apart. I don't want to take over the
Can I
conversation with
ask
this.
where you're from? Because I'm trying to like I'm listening to you and I'm trying to guess. Okay, maybe he's Brazilian. He's rolling his R's a bit. Nah, he's not Brazilian. Maybe he's Eastern European somewhere. Maybe you're
It's
African. Where are you
possible.
from, brother?
I will not reveal for now, but I will tell you that I'm from Europe, and I can tell you that if I had to guess where you're from, I wouldn't say that you are Russian because you don't have, or you don't seem to have the Russian accent. So
Yeah,
very
I
good job.
worked on that quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't know how you made it, but you made
It's
a
just
pretty good
really
job.
it's just practice. It's a little
Hmm.
bit of practice of talking to people and talking to myself a bunch, and a lot of listening to people from the States, just
Hmm.
just listening and trying to sound the same. Because
Yeah.
when I hear Russian people talk with accent like that,
Uh-huh.
it sounds very weird to me. I don't want to sound like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I try to make it a bit more neutral.
Okay, okay, you made it. Just a curiosity. Some time ago, I tried to learn some Russian by myself. Um, so I remember. Well, I know the alphabet and
Right.
and know some basics, but it's something that I want to work on in the future when I have more time because um,
It's gonna be
I,
really hard.
I like
From what
I
I
like
from what
tough
I've heard,
challenges.
like it's really hard for foreigners to learn Russian because we have a lot of rules. We have a lot of shit
Hmm.
that sounds weird. We have a lot of we have some sounds that some other languages don't have.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's going to be complicated, but it's going to be rewarding, I imagine.
yeah, I think so. At least from what I tried, I can um, confirm what you said. There were some sounds that I were not used to, and
Hmm.
it was interesting. But then I had to prioritize other stuff, and then
Hmm.
yeah, I moved on.
Well,
Uh,
you have a bunch of time. From what it sounds like, you're also like in your 20s.
mhm,
Maybe not old. I don't think you're older than that, so you have a bunch
yeah,
of time to learn any sort of language. So you're good.
yeah. What I wanted to ask you is a bit of what you think that will happen today. But before that, I will ask you this because I remember that you do so, and if
You're
you
you're
can
doing
talk
you're
about
doing
that.
this like an interview, which is very interesting. It's like the first
It
time anyone like ever done an interview with me. I was the one who done interviews with people.
Oh, nice.
So yeah,
And
it's
do you
it's
mind?
it's cool.
Like,
I like it. I love it.
nice. It's just because I think that this is more of a platform for yourself, yourself, like the community. I think that there are a lot of interesting guys in the community, and you without a doubt are one of them that caught my attention. And yeah,
Thanks.
is to know a little bit more of the community because we are all fans, and we are talking trash on the comments, and we don't
Yeah.
really know how the community is, the UFC
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be cool to start seeing how thoughtful the community can be, how accurate or not they can be before the fights, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So I'm trying to get to know a little bit better the community that we are building
interesting,
together.
interesting. All
Um,
right.
so
So, what
mhm.
was your question?
Let me see if I can. Okay. My question, it was more like if you can tell. Well, no, I'm sorry. Two questions. One of them was if you are going to bet tonight, because I remember that you said somewhere in the community that you are a guy that bets.
I shouldn't, because the
Okay.
last time on the last card, I did not do good on the last card, right?
Okay.
Like I bet a bunch on Mackenzie Dern getting a submission because I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, Yan Nan, she's good, but the last time I saw her grappling with Carla Esparza, she got dominated there, and if one takedown, I thought that one takedown or one entanglement with Mackenzie Dern, and it's going to be all over, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to a bunch of people make a bunch of picks, and yeah, I made a mistake and I bet at that time. I really shouldn't have,
Mm-hmm.
but it was still fun because I don't bet a lot of money. I bet spare
Okay.
change. You know,
Okay.
just the stuff that I have like leftovers or spare money or bonus money or whatever, just to make it fun, just to make
Okay.
it interesting. And this card, there's a lot of good bets on this card, like a lot, because I think that it's a lock that Islam and Charles is not going to a decision. They're just
You
not
don't
going to
think
a
so?
decision. No way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if they're going to go to a decision, I'll be very surprised because I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that even if Islam is going to be controlling most of the fight, even if he's going to be the one winning the grappling, I don't think Charles is going to survive for 5 rounds because he does have a tendency to go all out in fights and
Mm-hmm.
spend a lot of energy. So that one's a lock. I think that Abubakar Nurmagomedov is way too big of a favorite against Gachi. Gachi is a good bet. I mean, there are plenty of bets that are good, really, if you think about
Okay.
it.
So, so
I think I am gonna bet at the end of the day, but I really shouldn't. In fact,
the
I think I will.
so just to confirm that I understood correctly, if you were about to bet on the Charles versus Islam, you'd bet that the fight will not go to decision.
Yes,
That's one bet.
actually,
Okay.
I think that the best bet the best bet is them not going to a decision. It's like the best one as far as probability goes,
Mm-hmm.
because when we're talking probability, we gotta like if the number's like I don't know minus 250
Mm-hmm.
by American numbers. If it's minus 250, then we're like, okay, it's very very possible, but we think that it's more possible than the bookies think that it's possible. You know, they think that it's uh, I don't know 50% possible, but we estimate
Decision.
that it's going to be 75% possible. No, the finish,
Oh, okay.
right? And sorry, and so I think that's the best one. But I also think that Charles Oliveira by knockout in the first round is actually not a bad bet
All right.
because he predicted it. Charles himself, he predicted it. He said knockout first round, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest thing about it is that recently Charles had an eye surgery and now he
Oh.
sees perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Before, did you know about this?
I knew, and I have some thoughts about that, but continue.
So before he saw three people in the octagon when he fought like Dustin Poirier, he saw three of Dustin Poirier's, which is terrifying.
Yeah.
God no, I do not want three Dustin Poiriers in front of me trying to take my head off. And so he saw three of Dustin's, and he was hitting just the one in the middle. And now he sees perfectly. If Charles Oliveira can see Islam Makhachev perfectly, he's gonna knock him out.
Yeah.
So I think
Um.
that it's not a bad bet to take Charles Oliveira by knockout.
Mhm. The thoughts that I have about Charles Oliveira new surgery, I have some data missing, but I would like to know when he did the surgery, and just because adaptation period, because when you do a surgery, even if it is your eyes, I think that you have to go to some adaptation. And if the
Yeah.
surgery is too close to the fight, I actually would be concerned, just because I'm not sure if he would be able to adapt all his skill set or something to the new eyesight. That's just one concern that I have. But if he has done more time ago, like some months or something like that, he probably had time to adapt through sparring and all those things. Another thing
Yeah.
that Mhm. Another thing that
But
I
it's
had
also
doubt.
like his skill set when you watch him fight Gaethje, for example, right?
Mhm.
Um, his skill set is tailored towards his bad vision because he needs to have a hand on you. He needs to
Yeah.
lean on you. He needs to get to the clinch because if he knows where his hand is, he knows where your head is, so he knows
Yep.
where to hit. And if he has the same with bad eyesight, with good eyesight, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
It's still going to be working.
Yeah.
So I think that he doesn't need to change his style. He doesn't need to change how the way he strikes. He's just going to be more accurate with the way he does it. And as
Mhm.
far as how early the surgery was in the preparation process, I don't know. I think they're smart guys. I think Diego Lima is a smart coach. I think they're all smart people, and they had a surgery long before the fight. So like
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe at least a couple of months ago.
Yeah. So I would like to ask you this. I'm feeling Charles very intense. I'm feeling Charles very intense. I don't know if you have the same perception.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And do you think that we will see anything new from this more intense and with new vision Charles, or we will see the same but better executed or in the same fashion than before?
I think it's going to be more of the same because I don't know how much more intense can he get in the cage because as
Hmm.
soon as the ref says go, he's right in the middle, he's right in your face, and he's hitting you with everything that he can with like everything but the kitchen sink, maybe even a kitchen sink, right?
Hmm.
And so I think it's going to be the same when it comes to the fight. Maybe I think he's more intense nowadays because he got more confidence. He's got
Yeah.
more confidence. He's the on-ground champion. Like the champion has a name, and it's Charles
Hmm.
Oliveira. And so he has more confidence. He has more money nowadays. Like you can see him. He from what I think Anthony Smith on Michael Bisping's podcast said that out there in Abu Dhabi, Charles Oliveira brought about 100 people with him
Hmm.
of his team. 100 people. Like that's a lot of money. That's a lot of
Yeah.
money. That's a lot of
Without.
people to transfer to Abu Dhabi from Brazil or even from the States. And so he's got a bunch of money. He's got a bunch of confidence. He's an uncrowned champ. He pretty much has
Yeah.
the belt without having the belt. And so that's what I think where the intensity comes from. And also Islam and his team and Khabib and everyone out there, they disrespected Charles. They disrespected him a lot. They did
Mario
not
is
say
back.
nice
Yeah.
things about him.
Hmm.
And
Um.
especially if you go to like Russian media. I don't interact with Russian media a lot because I think that
Mhm.
a lot of them are very unprofessional. They're
Okay.
unprofessional. They don't know
In
what.
which way?
Um, they they don't talk like professional people. You know, even like
Okay.
you and I. They use a lot more street talk, if you will.
Okay. Can you give
A lot
examples,
of it.
or that's too much? Like giving examples.
Well, so for example, when somebody is throwing a spinning back kick, right?
Uh-huh.
In a fight, somebody's throwing a spinning back kick. In Russian, we have this word called vertushka. It's basically transferred, it translates as spinny.
Okay.
So they're throwing a spinny. And that's exactly how the commentators are calling the fight. Oh, he threw a spinning. It's
Okay.
not that they're not saying that he threw a spinning back kick. He threw a spinning.
Okay.
So
They're
I was
less
like,
technical or something.
yeah, they're much less technical. They're much less technical, they're less respectful towards the fighters, and they're less enthusiastic about the fights. When I
Hmm.
watched not too long ago, I had an experience when UFC were putting on a thing of like a watch party, right, for
Hmm.
UFC Paris at their own gym on a big screen with some competitions, winning prizes, all that good stuff.
Hmm.
And I watched it with obviously with Russian commentary, and that Russian commentary was atrocious because not only do they're not being professional, but also they're not being enthusiastic about the fights. You know, they're commentating like it's a golf tournament. You know, oh well, he landed a big right hand there. Wow, very cool. And
Oh, he
all
punched
that.
him. Just kidding.
Oh my God, he punched him. Wow, wow, he punched him.
Yeah.
Like that's the commentary style, and that's the worst because that kills the enthusiasm for the fan.
Yeah.
And like
Uh,
as I was watching, Russian people are very generally we're passionate people, right? Especially when it comes to mixed martial arts or somebody or
mhm.
our guys fighting, right? And as I was watching the fights with those casual fans, they were quiet. I heard crickets because they were so unenthusiastic about the fights because the commentators were the same way, you know. So that
Yeah.
was so I don't interact with Russian media because they're all just about all of them they're shit. They're really
Okay.
bad,
Yeah.
and I wish someday in a couple of years I'll be the one to change that.
So you
And
want to become media,
I
like
think
be part of the media?
I think so, yeah.
Hmm.
But I'm probably gonna need a degree in journalism.
Hmm.
So I already have a degree in philosophy, so I'm probably gonna
Very
go into
interesting.
commentating. Yeah,
Yeah. So
I'm probably gonna
let
go
me.
into commentating for the UFC, and so yeah. And in Russian media, back to what I was saying, in Russian media, you could hear Khabib and Islam both being very disrespectful towards Charles. Abu Bakr being disrespectful towards Charles. They're calling him a bum. They're calling him
But
uh,
but
a
but
weak champion.
themselves calling them a weak champion, or the media say they called that like.
No, themselves. It's
Oh, okay.
themselves.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
we don't have
it's
access to that.
the thing is, Dagestani people, they're prideful people. They have a lot of pride, and they're very not aggressive. They're combative. They're combative people because they are brought up in harsh environment, and they went through
Hmm.
war with Russia before, and so they're
Yeah.
very hardened. And because of that, they very much respect their own. They respect their elders. They're Muslim people, but
Hmm.
they don't respect their opponent for the most part. They don't respect their opponent. They don't respect what the opponent has done, and that's why Islam he basically says, "I'm the real champion." Well, he's
Yeah.
not,
But
and he's
let me
not even
just
close to.
let me just interrupt just to
Yeah, yeah.
say that like what I see from Islam. Well, I like to see say a few things, but I don't see Islam being like so disrespectful in the Western media. So
Yeah,
why do you think they have this duality of on Western media they do one thing and Russian media they do another thing?
because A, they don't know English well. They really don't. They can barely speak
Okay,
English. And B is because they have a really smart guy as their manager in Ali Abdelaziz. Ali
okay,
knows what they should say and what they shouldn't say. Ali knows how
okay,
to make them look good. And
okay.
so a
In
lot of
both
the time I
audiences.
imagine, yeah, a lot of the time I imagine that he, maybe he doesn't tell them what to say, but he probably is like directs them in a way that like, okay, you probably shouldn't talk about that, or probably should
Yeah.
mention that. I
Mhm.
think because that's just smart managing.
Yeah, but I actually think that's his job. Like, um, in the sense that uh, they are assets on his hands, so he has
Yeah,
to protect their assets. Like,
for sure.
I um, so like it's about um, um, like swimming, learning to swim, and not fighting against the ocean. Like, um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like he's playing with the rules to get the most benefit of that. But okay,
That's manager's job. That's what he should do.
yeah, all right. Just a comment on something that you have said. A bit new
Mhm.
information for me about Charles' entourage, like more than 100 people, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, more than
About
100
100
people.
people. At least that's what
About 100
Anthony
people.
Smith said. And
Mm-hmm.
I think he has some guys from his gym fighting on the same card,
Mm-hmm.
maybe, or like adjacent. So he probably knows better. And
Yeah,
yeah, he said that they're
I
rolling squad deep. They got a big
yeah,
squad there.
like at the beginning when Charles said that he didn't want it to fight Islam, I thought that it was exactly because the support that Islam would have here, but to fight that, he made himself like a party, like he decided to embrace this challenge and make like
Maybe.
it was his own house, with many
Yeah.
people with them, and coming here and have a blast of a time. And nobody, so to speak, is talking about Islam, but everybody is talking about Charles with Lions, Charles with Carls, Charles entourage. He was able
Yeah.
to uh, take all the shine from Islam and turn somehow the advantage to at least psychologically of the environment to Charles, because it seems that, or at a superficial level, it seems that the place doesn't look any more an advantage to Charles. This might be false, of course, might be only an impression, but um, it's what it seems to me.
Yeah, that's a great point. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Charles, he changed the conversation towards himself. He's the star of this. He's the main
Yeah,
event. Yeah, it's very interesting because I didn't even think about it. Like he's coming into basically Islam's backyard, and Islam's supposed to be this
exactly.
big star in the heir to Khabib. But no, this time it's Charles Oliveira. He's the lion, and he's the star of the show. Yeah, that's very cool.
Hmm.
And
Um,
when it comes to psychological aspect, I recently thought about this thing, right? So Charles Oliveira just had an eye surgery. He's seeing better. He's the uncrowned
mhm,
champion. He's got all this hype, all the people around him. Everybody loves him because he's a great champion. And he mentally, spiritually, and physically he's at the top level, right?
yeah,
He's at an all time high, right? But Islam is coming in and he's got all the expectation from people. You know, Muslim world expects him to win.
mhm,
Khabib expects him to win, and he's the second coming of Khabib. And not only that, but he's supposed to follow Father's plan. Father's plan is the plan of Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov,
mhm.
right? And the plan was that if when Khabib retires, a couple years after that, Islam has to be the champion. But what if he doesn't? What if he doesn't? What if he loses? Not only does he lose in front of Abu Dhabi people, in front of Muslim world, he loses in front of Habib. He fails Abdul Manap, and if he loses, when it comes to Charles Oliveira, it's most likely going to be a finish. So he gets finished as well. that's gonna crush him.
Yeah. Especially
So
if he
he has
taps.
all this. Yes, especially if he taps. I don't think he taps. He's probably gonna go out or have his arm
But
broken or
imagine
something.
that is an arm bar. An arm bar, if he doesn't tap, or the referee enters and stops the fight, or he's gonna break his arm.
I think he's gonna break his arm. I think
Yeah, man.
if Islam is gonna be put in an armbar, he would rather have his arm broken and then the fight is stopped by the doctor than to tap.
Hmm. Uh,
But
well, that's.
either way, he has all this pressure on him, and more than that, it's his first title fight.
Mhm.
It's just his second main event. It's his first main event in front of a lot of people, and he's going to fight Charles Oliveira. So from the first second of the fight, Charles is going to pressure him. Charles is going to
Mhm.
beat the shit out of him as fast as he can,
Yeah,
right? So that's a lot of pressure on Islam. So I think he's, as far as psychologically, he's a big underdog in this one.
yeah. I think that's very accurate analysis, and at least from my perspective, I am seeing pressure in Islam. At least I can feel Islam feeling pressure, and
Mm-hmm.
like for one side, I feel super aggressiveness on Charles. Like I myself, I'm frightened, and like I'm not sure if it will blind him. Hopefully not. And
Mm-hmm.
on the other side, I see on Islam uh, um, some kind of worry or something like that. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know if I can explain better, but despite these words, I see the tension and pressure. Um, so I don't know if it will work on his favor or not. Khabib has told that um, Islam works very well under pressure, but this is a different type of pressure. And you mentioned very important topics like the Muslim community behind them. I believe that Khabib should put some pressure also on him for
yeah,
the father's plan. So it's a very big moment, and I think that either scenario, either one wins, will be like a defining moment in the lightweight division.
yeah, for sure.
Um, yeah, um, because then what's next? Like I don't know if you have heard that if Islam wins, he wants to go to welterweight. Have you heard about it?
I don't think he's gonna go to welterweight. I think that either one, whoever wins, next guy up is Volkanovski. I think
Okay.
that's inevitable at this point because Volkanovski deserves it. He doesn't have a proper challenger at featherweight, so
Mhm.
even if Islam wins, it's still going to be Volkanovski. And also, one thing about you mentioned about Khabib putting pressure on
Mhm.
Islam. I've heard from an interview that Islam said Khabib was pressuring me during the training camp so hard that I started to hate him. You
Who
know,
said that? Islam?
Islam. Yeah,
Wow. When
that's a
was
big
that?
thing. Uh, I don't remember.
But
I don't remember. I think
but please continue.
I
Yeah.
think it's to some Russian media. I think so.
Okay.
And so the thing is that uh, they've been friends since I don't know high school, middle school, even like they were friends since they were teenagers. And if you start to
Mhm.
hate a guy because he's pressuring you this much, maybe maybe you're gonna crumble under that pressure. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Big, big question marks. Big
Yeah.
question marks to be solved today in less than 24 hours.
And when it
Um.
comes to the future of the division, I think it's Volkanovski and only Volkanovski because that's the guy that makes the most sense. Like
Mhm.
lightweight is in a very weird spot because let's say, for example, Benil beats Mateusz, right?
Mhm.
Does he deserve a title shot? Probably, but I'm not sure about that. because lightweight's very weird. It has guys like Gaethje. Gaethje doesn't want to fight anybody below top five.
Yeah,
Dustin doesn't want to fight anybody below top five. Chandler same way. And so Chandler and Dustin are fighting. What if Dustin wins? What now? He gets another title
yeah,
shot? No, of course not. Because he shouldn't. He beat one guy and he lost two title opportunities already. And they just don't want to fight the new blood. And the only one that's doing it is Benil. And even if Benil beats Mateusz, I don't think Mateusz has the star power to lead to get Benil to the title shot.
mhm,
I think Volkanovski is still going to take it, uh, meaning the title shot after Saturday, after today.
yeah,
Oh my God! After 2.5 hours, we got 2.5 hours, and the fucking pay per view starts. Well, not the pay per view, but the prelims. Damn, excited, excited. It's very interesting time.
yeah. I think, at least from a friend perspective, from my perspective, I would prefer
Wait,
Volkanovski. What?
somebody was
Hello?
calling me. I had to
Okay,
decline.
okay. If you have to do your stuff, it's okay. But I
Mm,
was saying that from a fan perspective, Volkanovski also makes sense because the other fights we
uh,
already knew what happened. At least if Charles wins,
earbuds.
Volkanovski all the way, and if it's Islam, Volkanovski is also interesting match. Although if Islam wins, it is also interesting to see how it would handle the same competition that like the top five. So there are more. I would say that there are more possibilities to the division if Islam wins, but I'm not like saying that he should win or anything like that. Uh, the future knows what's coming, but yeah, that's my thoughts on who's winning and what can happen next. Um, but yeah, are you there or you seem to be freeze? No. Yeah, yeah, I can, I can.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, good. Because somebody was calling me, and as I was declining the call, my earbuds turned off, and I was hearing you through the phone mic and not through the earbuds. Ah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
It does
let
happen
me ask
sometimes.
you this: why do you think Islam is the favorite?
I no, I think that he's psychologically he's an underdog.
Hmm.
Why do I think he's the favorite? Meaning like
In
on their
odds,
real numbers?
on the odds, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Islam is the favorite in odds. I don't know
I think that's
what's.
because generally people see that Charles Oliveira he's beatable. Like he
Hmm.
can be hit hard and he gets down. He gets down.
Yeah,
Islam is one of those. He's kind of like Khabib. He never bled. He never lost a round, which he did, and he's got this pressuring grappling game. So a lot of the time, bookies and people that are betting, casual betters, they see they see a matchup in in a more simplistic manner. So they see,
hmm,
oh, this is the next Khabib, and he's fighting against a guy who has 8 losses and
yeah.
was downed in his last fight. So I think that's what it is. It's just a simpler way for people to look at things, and that's why that's why they bet that way. Which is very funny that people see this fight in a simple manner, and yet they spend their hard-earned money.
Yeah. Mario is complementing our conversation.
Oh,
Thank you,
that's very
Mario.
nice.
Yeah,
Glad to
very
hear
nice
that.
from you. Thanks for listening.
I
Um,
actually I hope that this conversation, this discussion will, if not continue further, well,
mhm.
on different cards maybe. I think I want this. Will you have this as a video, as a VOD?
This will be posted on the channel. There is a live stream
Yeah,
going,
great.
and this in this on the channel. I was thinking if I cut the first part and just put when you appear, because the first part is just me talking trash. I don't know, or I
That's
can just,
whatever.
yeah, I can just leave it
Yeah,
as it is, and
yeah,
people
leave it
can,
as it is because we got to get accustomed to you as well. Especially
yeah.
like you're not showing your face, brother. We need to hear you as much as we can.
Yeah,
You know?
I will just leave the live stream as it is, and I want to do this also for Adesanya. Adesanya versus Alex
Oh
Pereira
yeah,
is a fight that excites
I
me
would
a
love
lot.
to. I
Yeah,
I
and
I, I think I'm gonna need to prepare for that card a lot because I recently I looked at the card and I was like, God damn, it's so good. Like that
I
that 281 card is just as good as 280. If you look at it
yeah,
like if you look at the prelims and all the stuff on there, it's just as good. And it's in New York, and I'm from New York, so I'm a big fan of
but you
that as
born
well.
in New York or Russia?
Yeah, yeah. I was born in New York, and then I moved to Russia right away. Like my
Oh,
dad
okay,
said, we're going back. So yeah,
okay,
I
okay,
stayed here for 25 years now.
okay. And now you are going back, or on your ways to go back to
Uh,
America.
probably, probably.
Hope
It's
so.
at some point I will. It's just that it's problematic to get a passport because I still don't have an American passport, and it's very problematic to get it now because the embassy is not working in Moscow.
Yeah,
So I got to go to a neighboring country, and uh,
I have a
it's a whole
question.
hassle. It's
Yeah, I have just a
yeah,
question. As a Russian citizen, you can travel freely through Europe, or you need passport?
no, you need a passport.
You need a passport?
Yeah,
Okay, okay, okay.
and I don't
So
have
yeah,
that one either.
yeah. Just work on that. And yeah, we will be here again for the Adesanya event. I don't know the card yet, but we still have time to prepare and see what's going on. And I don't know what time is it. Uh, okay, I think that this was a very good conversation, and
Yeah,
even if no one shows up on the next live stream that I will do next,
they're gonna watch the video. They're gonna watch the video. They're gonna understand how good this was.
yeah, hopefully. So yeah, thank you so much, Ivan. Is there
Actually,
any
it's
last
funny
thing?
that we had this fruitful, thoughtful, good conversation just about the main event, just about one fight.
Yeah.
Imagine if we talked to this, if we analyzed well every fight on that card, which is like I don't know, 12, 13 fights, this would be a long one.
Yeah, this would be very, very, very long. Like, I will be honest with you, I don't have knowledge, enough knowledge to cover all the fights, but the idea is that maybe other members of the community would have, and a healthy discussion could happen,
Yeah, yeah.
but usually my main focus is always the main fight, and if there are another fights that I can cover, or if there is time to it, I would do it as well. But for this one, I invested more time in Charles Oliveira and
Hmm.
Islam, and I don't know much about how the fight is going for the other guys. And
Hmm.
if I still had the energy, I would ask you what you know about them. But I don't know if you have energy. I'm like uh,
I'm
getting.
good.
You are good. You want to talk
I
about
can
those
do
fights?
like I can do like 20 more minutes to make this stream like 2 hours, and I think that'd be good.
uh, wait.
Well,
That's a
I'm
lot,
just
man.
gonna quickly touch on the co-main because with
So
TJ
yeah,
and Sterling,
okay.
it's a fun fight. It's a good fight, and for me specifically because I'm a huge fan of the bantamweight division.
Hmm.
It's the best division there is. It's just so competitive. Everyone can beat everyone, and so many interesting characters in there, interesting stories, interesting skill sets. It's a
Yeah,
great division. And when it comes to this fight, it's uh, for people, it's hard to understand the fight because it's hard to understand Sterling's style. Because
Hmm.
yeah, he's a wrestler grappler. He wants to take your back and choke you out, but he does have some funky striking, and he can't strike. And if he strikes, he's gonna make it very problematic for TJ. And from what they said, both of them actually on the face-off after the weigh-ins, Aljo said, "We're gonna strike. We're gonna strike. I'm gonna strike with you."
Oh, okay.
Uh,
But just one question.
yeah,
TJ is more of a wrestler? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know that guy,
TJ. Uh, well,
basically.
if you want to say who's the grappler and who's the wrestler, then yeah, TJ's more of a wrestler and Aljo's more of a grappler.
Okay.
I'd say, but they're both just as good of wrestlers, I would say.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
also interesting because TJ hasn't fought a good grappler in a while. Like Corey Sandhagen is a really good grappler, but defensively, offensively, he doesn't show it off as much. I think that the last time TJ fought a really good grappler was Rafael Assunção in the second one, and
Okay.
uh, that's a long time ago. That's like 4 years at least ago. And
So
so
this, yeah, okay. Continue.
it's a not new territory, but it's unfamiliar for TJ to fight somebody like Aljo, who's that big of a grappler.
I didn't
Uh,
know that Aljo was that good of a grappler until I saw the fight against Yan. I was
yeah,
impressed.
yeah, it was really good.
Impressed.
It's also interesting because like people don't know how good Petr Yan is at defending takedowns. Really, like he fought Junior Rivera, he defended very well. He fought Aljo in the first one, he did very well. But in Russia, he had two fights against a guy called Magomed Magomedov, who's a great wrestler, just fantastic wrestler, right? And who's I think he fought Piotr, and then he went undefeated, and I think he's still undefeated to this day. I think so. I'm
So that
not
that
sure.
guy beated Yan.
Uh, I think in the first fight they went to a draw
Okay.
because Piotr Yan was fouling him a lot. He was headbutting, he was holding the glove, he was doing all sorts of shit. I think he got a point taken away because he headbutted Magomed.
Hmm.
Because Piotr Yan, don't not many people know that, but he's a bit of a dirty fighter. You know, he likes to bend the rules, if you will. And so yeah, in the first fight, both of those fights with Magomedov are great. I don't know where we can find them right now online, but they're great fights. And so in the first one, they went to a draw because Piotr was cheating, basically. But in the second one, Piotr showed off some absolutely incredible takedown defense in the clinch, out on the outside, against the cage, everywhere. So he's a hell of a defensive wrestler. And when Aljo just takes him down, takes his bag, and doesn't leave him an inch, that's super impressive.
Yeah. Let me just ask you this. This comes after I saw the polls that we made on our channel, and basically some people were claiming that TJ is the villain of UFC. Do you have any thoughts on that? Why people
I
thought
think
that?
it's because people are. I mean, TJ is not. He's not the nicest person, if you will. Because I
Mhm.
think back to that story when uh, there was a kid that fought in the UFC, and he was in the same team as Dillashaw, and they were training, and then Dillashaw on the ground kneed him in the head so hard that the kid got a concussion and then had to end his career.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. So, uh, and there are some videos when TJ's sparring, he's sparring really hard, and
okay,
even after
okay,
he hits guys after the bell as well. Like he's not a nice guy, right? And he
okay,
did
okay,
cheat, but
okay.
uh, I don't think he's the biggest villain in the UFC because like there are a lot of people that are not particularly nice in the UFC. I mean, not a lot. There are guys who are bigger dicks and bigger assholes than him. Like I think back to there's Irvin Rivera, right?
Who?
It's Irvin Rivera. He fought
Okay.
Giga Chikadze. I think he debuted against Giga Chikadze, but then I think he had like 3 fights in UFC, and now he's in jail because he attempted to murder his sister. I
Okay.
think he
Yeah.
stabbed her like 20 times
That's pretty heavy
because,
stuff.
yeah, because the voices in his head told him to do it. You know, like that's a villainous thing. That's a villain right there.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
But I
for
mean, yeah,
sure.
he's mentally ill. That's another thing. To
Yeah,
me,
that's
to me personally, the biggest villain in the UFC is John Jones.
mhm.
He's just an asshole. Like
Yeah, I would say so.
I respect his skill set. I respect what he's done. I don't think he's the greatest of all time. Not even closely. To me,
Mhm.
I'm gonna link you my list of the greatest fighters of all time
Wait, 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 wait,
because
wait,
I
wait.
right.
Let's not expand all the cards today.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel that we will have more opportunities to talk about this.
That's that's a good
Um,
point. That's a good point.
so yeah,
So yeah, the biggest villain
let's
in the
have some
UFC,
cards.
I think, is John Jones.
Okay, okay, okay.
I think
Even.
TJ is a I think TJ is an asshole, but not the biggest villain like by far.
Mhm. Okay, okay. So villain. Oh no, I call you villain instead of even. Even
Sometimes
I
I can be.
am.
Sometimes I can be.
Great, great, great to talk to you. Um, I think, and I actually thought that you wrote about MMA and you had some kind of blog or something like that. But you don't do
Um,
that, right?
I don't. I'm way too
Okay.
lazy for that.
No,
I'm
no
good with
problem.
talking,
Yeah.
but I'm way too lazy to write. I actually I had a podcast, but it's in
Hmm.
Russian. I had a podcast with my friend, but sadly, my friend he moved to another country because
Yeah.
all the Russians do nowadays.
Yeah.
And but we're gonna get it back. We're gonna get it back. We're gonna get it up and running. We're gonna talk about MMA, and I think I really want to start my own stuff.
Hmm.
I want to start my own podcast and pretty much talk just like that.
Hmm.
Uh, and yeah, do that. I
So
think I'm gonna do that in the near future.
okay, perfect. Because I'm happy that you came today. Just because
Thanks. Me too.
the expectations were at least met, if not exceeded, because I was thinking in sending you a message to do something like this, because as I told in the beginning, you really seem very passionate about the sport, and I thought that we could produce some content while you put your stuff together, and then when you have grown enough or people know you, they just go to your channel or something like that and hear you that.
Yeah,
But this can be a place where you can come whenever there is a big fight, and we can talk just as we did today.
yeah,
So
for sure.
yeah, man,
And it's
thank you
also
so much
like
for coming.
with you, since you focus a lot on the bigger fights and to
Hmm.
getting into uh, dissecting it, the big fight a little bit more, like we did with Islam and Charles. I can
Yeah.
do all the fights on my other channel and talk briefly about those and more for the fight nerds like me,
Hmm.
for like the real hardcore ones.
Yeah.
And with you, I can talk about the main event in detail, in depth.
Yeah, that would be just great. It would be just great. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
agreed.
extremely happy for today. I almost don't want
I'm
to
glad.
to do the second live stream because this one was too good.
I'm
Um,
glad you're happy. I really am.
yeah.
You're a great guy. You're a hardworking guy, and you really should be more happy about the things that you do.
Thank you very much. I should listen feedback like you. and follow it. I usually am pretty demanding with myself, but
Oh,
I feel good this way.
we got a comment,
What?
by the way. We got a
With
comment from Ray Flores MMA, who's
where?
very excited for the fights on the StreamYard.
Uh, oh, let me just
Yeah,
check. Oh, this is unexpected. Um, but
that's very cool.
MMA what?
Ray
MMA
Flores
talk.
MMA
So
is,
excited for the fights today. Yeah, man. We are all excited. Will be great.
yeah, for
Thank
sure.
you so much for the comment. What were you saying?
Yeah, I was just addressing Ray as well.
Yeah. Okay. So I
So
think
yeah,
it's time
the fights are
to
gonna start in about actually 2.5 hours,
two and
and
a half
I
hours.
need to, yeah, I need to go
Yeah,
and
just
get
go, man.
my
Thank you so
bank
much.
card. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank
Even
you for doing
and
this.
see you next time.
Yeah, till next time. Bye.
Bye.